to talk a little bit more, I guess, about the match, we should be able to go through the map ban phase. So I guess we can do that. Got something we can discuss is where they're actually going to be playing. Clubhouse. Villa's still in there. Villa or Consulate. Okay.
Rematch.
We have a repeat map. Did they play on this map last time they met each other?
They did. So not only is it a repeat of what we saw against Team 1 and NIP, but it is additionally a rematch from Playday number 3. As we said, if you want to look back at previous results, Playday number 3 was the last time all of these teams played each other, and it was a 7-5 victory for Black Dragons on this same map. Now, obviously, FaZe has a new look, and Black Dragons does to a certain extent as well. But if just a very, very basic face level, I think it's great that Black Dragons are willing to go back to Consulate, because even though they are not a team that has had the greatest season, they obviously appeared to be quite strong against FaZe Clan on it. And it might be a smart decision knowing that they have an advantage on the map they'll be playing on against a team that on paper is better than them.
Yeah, I mean, this is statistically, and again, you know, I think the biggest thing to keep in mind, and we've seen this big change between the first and the second half of the season, was that, you know, the stakes are just very different. So the way that teams are playing are very different. Well, let's see what you guys think. Who's gonna win this? Why don't you go ahead and tell us your community votes? And all right, so 75% to FaZe. That means that Black Dragons is assured to take the victory. Maybe not as dominantly as Team 1 did over Ninjas in Pajamas, but, you know, good job to BD. Thank you for the community vote input.
We're just getting ready to launch this game. Everybody is now in the lobby and everything looks to be good. So we're just waiting for the final go-ahead from this Black Dragons roster. Yeah, Inst was very close to Singularity in our very first map vote. It was set for community vote is 46 to 45%. Team 1 versus Ninjas in Pajamas was a very lopsided 89% in favor of NIP. And they lost. So what will we have here? The 19% behind Black Dragons will be cheering quite fervently as we now get into it. Our third matchup of the day, Black Dragons versus FaZe.
Today is the day of the underdogs, it seems, so let's see what BD's got for us. Ban phase starts off. See here. Nothing crazy so far. I mean, FaZe are really deliberating over their decision here. Strongly considering, well, who they want to ban out before they fully commit. And it'll be a Thatcher. Okay. I mean, Nomad wouldn't surprise me here. IQ wouldn't surprise me. Capitao. You got a lot of real, you got a lot of good options, to be honest, right now on this map. There's the Capitao. Probably a Valkyrie and an Echo. That'd be my guess. Valkyrie Echo. Something like that. Maybe a Mira thrown in there. Maestro, possibly. We did see a clash in the last match, and that was on the same map, but I'd guess probably, again, the Valkyrie, and then probably for FaZe, the Echo. But they could do anything. There's like a small pool of operators that frequently are banned. And so far over the last few matches, we haven't had many surprises other than the clash. So, yeah, all in line with the standard here for Latin America and for these teams specifically.
Mira always escapes the ban when it comes to Consulate, or at least usually does, because there's far more viable operators that you see get trotted out, one of which being Valkyrie. And we were actually a little surprised that Valkyrie wasn't banned in our previous matchup. Of course, it was Clash who took her role. Additionally, Nomad will be unbanned as well, so she's going to be free to be played. I'm expecting what you usually see from the defense, but it's going to obviously be a little bit hindered by the fact that you don't have two of the most crucial info operators, being Valkyrie and Echo. Obviously, you can reposition yokais and you can put those Valkyrie cameras in very specific spots that allow you to play off of that. For defense, you're going to have to hope to grab a drone if you are on defense, or just a well-placed Maestro cam or a bulletproof cam, because you're going to be limited with the intel that you can bring because of the operator bans being the way that they are. So that needs to be something that we acknowledge and we watch from here on out, because for the defenders in the previous matchup, even though they had Valkyrie available, they didn't really utilize them all that well. This time around, there's no Valkyrie available. Will we see a bit more of a reckless roam from FaZe Clan that is not necessarily helped or aided by Black Eye Cams or Yokais? That's going to have to be the question that needs to be answered. And as you pointed out in the matchup between NIP and Team 1, Garage is usually your safest bet for a site to defend, so that's where FaZe is going to start.
See if that one works out for FaZe. Yeah, it's definitely the main bomb site for a lot of teams these days. And with the IQ in play, Valkyrie wouldn't have been... I mean, the Valkyrie and the Echo wouldn't have been as good as they could have been anyway, I guess. And that's, I think, part of why I'm a little confused as to why they brought the IQ, because that's what she's there to counter primarily. You can still shoot a lot of electronics on all of the sites on this map through the floor, like your mute jammers, your pests, your ADSs, your Kai Electroclaws in this case, with the lineup that FaZe is bringing. But it's, yeah, you know, it's there's other operators that you can bring that will give you also great pieces of utility. Like Zofia here would be really powerful, especially in the current meta. But they're committed to the play that they've got. Even a Kali would be a good idea since they know they're going to, well, expect to be attacking the bottom floor. But we're here where we are, like I said. PD focusing on top 4 control. They're going to be able to open up from above, so they don't need a Kali. As long as they get the control that they want.
Oh my.
1 C4 gone and 1 kill for FaZe. That's a pre-place for Mav. And a good call on the default camp.
Man, you do not have a buck now. So, as an attacking team, look at Piano. That 4 is pristine. Absolutely pristine. You don't need to worry too much about that upstairs control being had for the defenders. I mean, there's likely going to be some done by PZD, but ultimately, this is going to restrict the way that Black Dragons can put pressure on that site. Ion, who was guarding Piano, well, he falls off. He's removed by Hugzord, who's playing on yellow stairs, and I don't know if Ion just didn't know or not, but usually you don't lose those style of fights, especially if you're somebody like Ion. We saw him pull out some absolutely incredible and jaw-dropping plays the last couple play days.
They still haven't gotten control of the middle floor. We do have a roamer from FaZe on that middle floor. I believe it's Yuna. It's either Yuna or Live. Playing inside the bathroom. He'll get PZD, and it is indeed Yuna. He goes for a second and dies to Hugzord, who gets his second. Still even man count here. Not for that C4 earlier, this would be an advantage for BD, and they would be opening up from above. As he said, that's a valuable tool that was really lost. Astro will get WAG. So some sort of response from FaZe as they try to challenge the holes that were opened up above, but Lagonis gets Astro through the wall. Impressive awareness there from Lagonis and great calls from his team to get that kill. Mav in a crucial position holding the yellow stairs, and he'll lose to Hugzord, who gets his 3rd kill, looking for a 4th, and he gets it. Beautiful job there to Hugzord. A massive round, and I guess, well, that's why you give him IQ.
We saw in the Rogue game yesterday that an Amaru was being brought, or Amaru was being brought. Well, the speculation was that it was because the G8 is a pretty decent gun and you want people to use it. You bring the IQ. Why? Because you don't necessarily need the buck from above. If you're IQ, then, well, you just find the Electroclaws, and that's about all you need to do. She found both of them, took care of both of them, and then the Piano control was theirs, especially after the IQ took the Jaeger out, who was guarding Piano. Now, Ion, who was in that position watching Piano, was even more important after the buck died, because he's going to hold out an area where you know that Black Dragons are going to need to take, and they dispatched him. They dispatched him very quickly. Ion didn't even seem like he was able to fire back. So Hugzord needs to be the person who is credited with that round. Hugely impactful kills. When you get a 4K, there's a good chance that your team's going to win the round anyway, but Hugzord put his utility to good work, and it kind of silences us when we are looking at him with a questionable eye, saying, well, you know, you could have easily fit a Zofia into this composition. I guess you don't need one when you've got Hugzord playing the way that he just did in that round. So Black Dragons liked what they saw from their lineup. They're going to run with the same thing. FaZe have made a couple changes. Ultimately, they're subbing out the Mozzie for the Pulse, but they're going to go back down to Garage and hopefully fix up some of the errors that they had at the early onset of that round.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
I don't think that C4 is going to work for FaZe, first of all. Right off the bat, that should be highlighted. No free kill for BD, or rather, no free kill against BD in this round. I'm sure Hugzord will check for it diligently this time. He could have actually saved his teammate in that last round had he been near the long desk when the C4 came out. another thing I do want to note is that C4 is a pretty common one. We've seen that now in 2 Latin American play days going into the second half. It's a really easy one because you can just put the C4 and use the default cam by long desk, and as soon as the default cam by long desk is shot, then you detonate the C4 at long desk. You just have to figure out where that angle is, and that's easy peasy C4s. And I'm sure a lot of people can use that one in ranked moving forward, and a lot of people will. You don't even need a Valkyrie for it. Now, top 4 control is still the focus for BD. They pretty much got it. Looks like there's a roamer by yellow stairs, on the yellow stairs. Not actually playing on the top floor. And yeah, Ion will fall back. He was playing yellow stairs. Another C4, but a different location. This one placed inside a Visa using yet another default cam. This time, the Visa default cam near the Visa entrance. And, well, there's your free kill that FaZe are so diligently fishing for.
And that also is WOG, so no Nomad on the board, which means that if you are trying to crush down on the defenders and keep them from being able to stop you from getting an execute off, or even in the post plant, you're going to be in a much tougher position now. You're going to be in much worse shape. So that's prime fishing that's going on right now from FaZe Clan. I believe it was Mav who got it last time as well. A very similar drop, and history will repeat itself for the second time this round, except it was Hornetow that had died in round number 1. He'll be the one credited with taking care of Ion. Goodbye so long to the Jaeger, and that's the Buck who can now take control of Piano. Providing that there's no extra C4s that are left on the board, Hornetow is going to be in much better shape to be able to wreak havoc on FaZe Clan down below.
Convenient little lineup of the angles there, but there's a hard cover for Yuna. Ooh, the drop is reinforced. Yuna's stuck there. He doesn't have an option. In fact, if he gets naded, he's a really free kill. This is going to be very dangerous. Oh, but the nade goes to the wrong location, and Hornetow's nade will actually go down into kitchen, meaning he won't be able to dislodge Yuna other than just taking the fight. It doesn't seem like Hornetow's aware of where Yuna is, but he's going to find out in a second. Not land the kill, but do 50 damage. That's pretty solid. Yuna's forced to relocate by all this soft destruction. Now with the shotgun out, Yuna is scared, but look at the time. There's only 20 seconds. Make that 15, really. And BD need to execute onto the site. They don't have a choice. Mav will get Hugsword. A nice shot from Hornetow. One tap through the wall. And BD back in this round, 3-on-3. The push them through the security hall works, but there's no time. They need to plant. It's got to happen now. If Lagonis is stopped, it'll be a win for FaZe. And there it is. FaZe take it off of a great denial of that defuse plant.
Why did it take the Bucks so long to be able to pull that off? Up top, Hornetow, you've got an assumption that somebody is playing inside a bathroom. Yes, it's a mute with a shotgun. You can't get too close because you're likely going to die in one hit. I get it. But when he opens up that wall and you've got the mute there, he then repositions, and he's expecting the mute to be where exactly? I'm very puzzled. Was Black Dragons info starved? Did they not have anybody that could have come to his rescue? I don't know. And then the Buck of Hornetow as well doesn't even reposition to try and take out Piano. He knows that the mute is in there, and he's vulnerable when he starts to buck away at the floor, especially when he's going to have to reload that skeleton key. But Black Dragons just seem to lack a lot of coordination, and they almost managed to get out of trouble at the end by winning gunfights, knowing that they just broke into the site with minimal time remaining on the clock. But that's not really a viable strategy. You can't just almost abandon your I don't even know your idea of how to take the site, and then at the final second just kind of shoot your way out of it. That's not something that is sustainable by any stretch of the imagination. So I would be a little frustrated if I was Black Dragons there, because that round seemed like it was going very well in your favor, even though you lost the Nomad. You had a lot of tools at your disposal to be able to punish the remaining members of FaZe, and you just didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Well, let's see if they can make 4. They go to an attack of the top floor. FaZe obviously very happy with that result. I will say, though, considering how close it was, it does bode well for BD. At least there's that. You know, I'd say that BD look like a solid team right now on Consulate. The execution seems to want to be CEO Yellow Stairs for FaZe. Or rather, for BD against FaZe. FaZe have a clash set up to hold on to this position. One drone hack there by the Mozzie Pest. Good efficiency. That actually might be saved by the clash. You can see the Ash trying to get that drone. Low rotation, though, from Astro to get it. Actually, no, the one was shot, and that was the other. So BD putting a lot of focus here on the yellow stairs, putting a lot of effort on the yellow stairs. Yuna trying his best to hold on to it with Mav to support. Nothing really coming of it so far for BD. They've used a lot of their utility. Yuna's going to continue to throw those discs out. That's what makes Wamai so powerful in this position. He just can constantly be throwing out discs to make holding this much easier.
So many discs that you're going back to the late 90s with the AOL free trials that you'd get.
I don't too young for that.
I was going to say, I don't know if you're going to catch that reference. One of the best tools for FaZe on this defense has just been removed, and now another falls as well, as both Mav and Yuna are dragged out of action, kicking and screaming, and that's the clash in the Wamai. Really important for holding control of that yellow stairs. Those magnets, those discs, as you were talking about, are instrumental at holding down the disruption that's going to get poured in from yellow stairs. And then additionally, drawing the fire of the attackers and slowing them down when they do advance is Mav in that clash. And he was the very first casualty. C4 goes in, it'll chunk away at some of the HP from PZD, but that'll be it. And now the Mozzie doesn't look to his right. Astro too distracted by yellow. He gets gunned down by PZD as the Ash almost taken out by the toxic canisters of Live inside of Connector. The two newest members of this FaZe roster are the remaining support beams to prop up this defense for them. Meanwhile, Black Dragons haven't lost a single step. Yes, PZD is low on HP, but that's really it. There's still lots of utility, as we can see on this board. Hard destructive capabilities available for Lagonas, Hornetau with Skeleton Key as well, and one frag grenade, as that's just a swing on the window of Connector. That's it. Ion will fire back right now at long desk, but his advance towards the site is cut off by a barricade. He hears the swing on in. Watching for Connector. Diffuser goes down and the Buck will challenge. Hornetau's got 3 kills so far. He'll be denied a 4th as Ion begins his own streak. But he's going to be walking into multiple crossfires. And it's well played from Wog inside, or rather, down below. There were 3 crossfires from Black Dragons. And there was no way Ion was getting out of there alive. Diffuser goes down and it's another round for Black Dragons, as they were pretty good across that entire 3 minutes.
So that round, interesting. FaZe trying their best to hold on to yellow stairs, but as we all know, that's a difficult thing to do. It is the standard way to hold the top floor CEO take in this day and age. Yellow stairs gives you an angle to deny the plant, but it's clearly the focus for BD as well. Dislodging those players at the top of yellow was successful for BD. They got the clash, they got the Wamai. Cost a lot of utility, but they didn't incur any casualties themselves, so that's big. Once they had the control of yellow stairs, they were able to exert pressure onto the rest of the bomb site. Now, there was the setup from FaZe when it comes to the shield thing, and we saw this in the previous matchup, because it was also on this map. A shield near big desk that does give you some cover to CEO windows and top of yellow, but it does not cover you from the bathroom door. And because the gas canisters from the smoke came out delayed, and the Mozzie died on the shield because those gas canisters weren't protecting him from bathroom door peek, FaZe effectively lost control of the site and were put on a back foot. Even in a 3v5 situation, had the gas canisters protected the Mozzie from the Ash, that could have been a winnable round still for FaZe because of that shield position, which facilitated denial of both CEO and top of yellow. But, FaZe didn't play that well. And so, with PZD pushing up to bathroom and getting the kill on the shield player, it was effectively over at that point.
Scanning for electronics. Bomb located by attackers.
So, where do you go if you're FaZe clan here? You have lost Garage once and you won it. You got console, so you're instead going to go to the lobby. All right, I understand that. Black Dragons are spending some time and utility to open up the garage down below, and a rare Mira sighting will also be on the board / on the docket, but where will those black mirrors be positioned? It looks like you've got one inside a bathroom. With that hatch opened up, you could possibly lob a grenade up there, providing that there's no magnet or ADS position to take it away. Astro as well has this beachhead established in security, and he's just going to watch it very intently. You're going to need likely some vertical pressure or a take from the back to shake Astro out of that spot.
Nothing really happening so far to deal with Astro. I think they just wanted to open up the garage to have it open to exert pressure on anyone in the basement. But they're clearly trying for multiple different things at the same time. It looks like it's going to be a piano take for BD, yeah. So they only opened the garage so that there wouldn't be a C4 from below in piano. They don't have to push in through garage. They just have to make sure that nobody's C4ing from below. That's it. They're also applying pressure to above so that no one can open up above piano so that BD can plant. Lagonis is going to get the first kill onto Mav. There's another one for BD as Hugzord from Yellow Stairs gets Yuna. Plant going down for Lagonis. No C4 from below. That's established. No one from above. That's also done. Live gets 2, though. Huge kills there. He denies the plant, and he gets the cover. Losing a lot of HP in the process, but it's going to allow Ion to get Hugzord over by Yellow Stairs, meaning that BD are suddenly on the back foot in this engagement. FaZe looking much stronger, all thanks to Live's performance.
In the final minute now as well, and that was just an extraordinary play that's carried out by one person and has now put Black Dragons at such a massive disadvantage that I'm not exactly sure how they're going to find themselves out of this spot. Hornetau has a drone available. We don't know where it's positioned, but Ion is very intently waiting for him on Yellow Stairs. Both members of Black Dragons are very split up. The Ash is over towards the main lobby. Won't come into the line of sight of Ion, but that's why you've got Live and Astro there in case they're looking in that position. The Buck will do his best work over by Zulu. It's a lot of HP done, but what a beautiful shot by Hornetau. And he's got control of Bathroom now. There's one member of FaZe that's crouch walking upstairs. PZD and Hornetau both assembled inside of the main lobby. They'll have to get that diffuser down at some point. Waiting very intently. There's Live on the ground. He loses the duel, but PZD will have to find Astro, and Astro's not going to give him a single inch. No diffuser capabilities at all in the hands of PZD, and FaZe Clan will just wait out the clock on a masterful off-site hold, and Live in particular putting in a great effort to give his team the victory in that round.
Denying the plant and checking his own cover player. I mean, you don't see that very often. That kind of a retake is super difficult to pull off, but Live, I guess, hits those, and he did it in the span of one SMG-11 magazine. Well done to Live, salvaging that round, and to Ion, contributing quite a lot as well. The overall win there, coming at the end due to time. One thing I will state is that FaZe, again, they are winning rounds. You know, we're neck and neck here in round count, but I'd say these FaZe rounds are much closer than the BD rounds. That last round could have easily still been BD's, even after Live's performance. A setup there from BD, making sure there was no one C4ing from below, and then having someone cover above so there's no holes from above, allowing for the plant to happen inside a piano while all the while there's good coverage. I mean, that setup from BD, that was really impressive. That's all I gotta say. Which makes Live's retake even more impressive. Now, basement defense next for FaZe. They've been here before. We'll see how they do as they go here again. I said it last time. They went to the basement. I don't think they're going to get a free C4 kill from below. But they proved me wrong on their second attempt.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah, third time's the charm, maybe? Yep. We'll see if they get yet another pre-play C4 kill. Or if BD can, this time, avoid those.
If you recall, the last attack that came out from Black Dragons, Wag was the one who was taken down by the C4, which obviously impacts the way that you are going to take the site, but more importantly, how your opponents retake the site. Additionally, Black Dragons stalled out on that first floor. They couldn't do a single thing. This is very quick action, and we might actually just see them rush right into the site as both these panels are opened up. The Buck is there with Lagonis. Maybe a bit of a pause. Don't go for it. Take some time and drone it all out. I think that's what Black Dragon's strategy might be now, but Hornetau is getting droned in. He'll fire into the soft wall. Doesn't net a single thing. And boy, he'll just wait. So no, it won't be a rush strat from Black Dragons, though they do need to be very mindful of the clock. That opening pick that comes from FaZe was huge, and it was an explosive end to Black Dragons. This time, it's going to be to FaZe on this defense, with Mav, who was credited with both of those C4 kills, blowing up in front of our very eyes. Great tossed grenade that goes in after the utility is cleared out from Ion, and you've lost the Mozzie. That's a challenge for FaZe, who will now need to rebound from that loss.
Those ADS is being cleared, open up a lot of opportunities for BD to land those nades. Player at pipe spotted, that might be the next victim. Stun goes in to assure that the flash is there, and there you go. Yuna full blind will be eliminated by PZD, who gets out barely scathed. Lagonis on the entry also gets one, but Astro is responding. Live and Astro in a 2 versus 4, though. It's not going to be an easy retake. These are not being planted right now by BD as it's down. A lot of it picked up. Lagonis was the carrier, and now it's on someone else. Hornetow will get live, but Astro gets his second kill. Can't retake it, though, and BD will get another successful execution into the bottom floor.
There's still a fair bit of time left on the clock with that one as well, so it was really a rush strat from Black Dragons. They just had to do some homework before they could go out to play. That's at least what it looked like, as they opened up those panels in a hurry and just simply ran over and trampled the FaZe members that were on site. Frustration, obviously, from FaZe as they'd lost the Mozzie and then just didn't have the intel that they needed. And this, once again, plays to the lack of Valkyrie and Echo in this game. They are two of the most crucial intel operators. Valkyrie is a staple on Consulate when she doesn't get banned, and that's because she allows you to rotate on what is a very linear and oftentimes claustrophobic map. Ditto with Echo, and those yokai drones, providing there's no IQ on the board, can cause major heartache to the attackers as they're repositioned or even just played off-site. FaZe right now, in terms of visibility, are only bringing the Maestro cams. That's it. Now, they are again going to be bringing a Mira. This is the second time that FaZe is trotting one out. It's going to be on their very first Defensive Teller's archives. But Mira is going to be played here completely and fundamentally different from a lobby defense. They had set Astro off to play deep off-site, and he wasn't even really necessary on that lobby defense. He dissuaded the attackers from taking full garage control because of the way the Black Mirror was played. When the Black Mirror was played down below inside of the office next to the staff room, and then additionally the Black Mirror that was played as well upstairs in bathroom, which caused such trouble for the Yellow Stairs control that the Buck needed for the longest period of time from Black Dragons. But regardless, the big issue that has been for FaZe, that's been up there for FaZe through most of these rounds, is just they don't have intel at all. And the Mute Jammers and the Mozzie Pests are not doing enough to stop Black Dragons from gaining intel, or if they are, Black Dragons don't really care. They're just rushing in anyway and inflicting the pain on FaZe, blind or not.
So many different layers to what we've been seeing second half of the season. You know, there's the motivation change, of course. There's the slightly different meta. There's looks like that's might have been a barricade bug. It looked like he was trying to drag like drone through it. Anyway, there's the motivational difference with the offset of not having the LAN. There's the different meta that we're seeing employed in this second half, which is very it's the 20-second meta. It's just different than what we've ever seen before. Really, all these different layers. And that changes the way that everyone's playing, whether they be like, you know, teams that go typically for aggressive plays or teams that are typically more strategic or what have you. Everyone's got to adjust. And with all these different things happening all at once, it does give us a completely unexpected result half the time, it seems. So, you know, and it opens up the gates for a lot of teams who otherwise might struggle in situations or in matches like this. Changes the whole dynamic that we experience in terms of who's winning what and how. It's all less standard than expected. I don't know.
This is the change that's coming in now. It's been FaZe turning their attention over towards Visa as they break that castle barricade down, and the Ash will just continue to go up, and Mav was in a rock and a hard place, and he will find himself ground to dust as PCD loses the fight to Ion. It's not an altercation that you usually see the UMP come away with a victory in, yet it will anyway. There's another for Black Dragons as they've got control of the first floor, and they're going to try to sequester the members of FaZe remaining downstairs, but FaZe are answering back. Mozzie spotted, taken out by Lagonis. That's a bit of a scare for him. Still time to go for the plant. There is 2 C4s on the board from both Live and Una, providing that they brought the C4s at least. That is the likely loadout for them. Lagonis knows that he's going to likely have to find one frag and put it into a 1v1 with that diffuser down, and he's going to plant under the Evil Eye. But this information is going to continue to go to FaZe. Una down below, Live pushing up. He's going to get hit by an air jab. Lagonis knows this, and he manages to survive a C4. He could get out. This is being really well played by Lagonis. He just needs to watch for Mute to push from a certain position. He knows he's at the door, finds the Mute, but somehow loses that fight. My goodness, it looked like he should have come away with a victory, but Live with 1 HP in a dream is more than enough. It's going to be a tie game between these two teams through the first 6 rounds. Sides will swap, but neither of them proving to be better on attack or defense.
All right. Yeah, definitely an interesting result for the first half. We get that switch over. So BD, I'd say really solid half. I did expect them, to be honest, to take that last round. The way that it was played by Lagonis could have been a little bit better. He was playing it very well, but definitely not perfect. There was an opportunity for some vertical control there, some vertical play. Since he was playing the Thermite, I assume he probably still had 1 extra thermic charge left. Didn't check for it, but one must assume, considering there wasn't much else to open up. Open up the wall next to the diffuser, play it from above. You got choices like that, or you can play it further back, maybe by the Visa stairs. Try and maintain control of that, because you can get the lower Visa stairs on a long angle. You shouldn't expect anyone to be above you at that point, since that was cleared out. I don't know. There's choices, but he decided to try it and play it right on the diffuser, which was super dangerous. I'm thinking the reason he did that is because he was expecting FaZe to be more responsive to the plant and much closer to him after he got the plant down. Which, if that was the case, then, fair enough to him. Anyway, good execution there from BD onto the site. Stopped very well by FaZe. We're getting some nice action out of this one so far. Bottom floor defense first for BD. Now, the bottom floor was mixed results for FaZe, but better, honestly, for BD when they were attacking it. I'm curious to see how this will change on the side swap. It's possible FaZe is going to start waking up and coming alive here and really outperforming on the attacking side. Sometimes we'd see it be the case that
See what?
No, I was just mesmerized for a second. Is that's the green version of the blue skin that they used to have, right?
Yeah, that's the Christmas skin. There were 2 of them. There was the blue snowflakes one, and then there was the green snowflake Christmas tree one.
Yeah, but the blue one got yoinked out of my inventory. It's not there anymore, and I was wondering what happened to it. And I was like, wait, was it green? Did I misremember it?
No, so Slash actually from Rec tweeted about this a while ago, being like, the Christmas skin just disappeared from my inventory. Has anybody else noticed this?
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess it did for yours as well. I wasn't around when those Christmas skins were in, so I never had access to them.
Well, that blue one that everyone had was actually, I think it was a mistake, because this is way back when something else was happening. I can't really talk about it, but I don't think it was supposed to be in our inventory in the first place. It wasn't an actual Christmas skin. It was gotten through a different means. Totally and I think they just ended up, they finally decided to remove it, was what happened.
Yes, you hacksored the Matrix, Michael.
No, it was actually something that was done for Ubisoft. But
it was a joke. It was a joke.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But it was one of the OG skins or whatever, and it just disappeared. Yeah. Anyway, this round, Yuna is going to get the... Yeah, it is a nice skin. FaZe is going to light things up with 2 kills for themselves. Look at PZD and Hornatow, who had been on a roam. And with that shut down, that's going to allow FaZe a little bit more freedom up on those top floors. There's still 1 roamer, Hugzord, in the bathroom. Oh, no, he's got the... The Buck can't run through the front door. He's going to try to open it again, and... no, he's just going to rappel in. And he'll win the fight. Amazing. First of all, I'm pretty sure that was default cam that FaZe didn't shoot outside of the building. Second of all, I'm amazed that Mav won that fight. Third of all, he couldn't go through the front door because of the barricade bug. That's unfortunate. And there you go, FaZe cleaning up the round. Flawless round at that. A pretty easy breezy one. And I guess, yeah, they're going to come alive on attack.
I could have sworn that barricade thing was fixed with the patch that came out 2 days ago.
Clearly not, because Mav, he was running into the barricade, and then he decided to go for rappel instead. But let's not let that distract us from the fact that FaZe didn't shoot default cam, though. Because we definitely need to highlight that. It could have been a disastrous round with the default cam outside the front door still up. So what I've heard, Parker, is that they're trying really hard to fix it. I hear it's a super high priority, but it clearly isn't. Clearly isn't. It happened yesterday too.
Yeah, I know. I saw. It happened. You mentioned it in the Tempo Storm match.
Attackers need
So.
to locate and defuse bomb.
Yes.
Is.
Back down to garage. Black Dragons will go. Rough. Sorry.
It's rough, yeah.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Yeah, I mean, Mav couldn't get in. It looks... I know it's probably not funny to the players, but to see just like a buck running against the door over and over and over again, not going anywhere, is kind of humorous, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it's it does have kind of a
10 seconds.
that's funny, I guess, but it's only funny when it doesn't like change the outcome of a round.
Seconds to go. Attackers objective.
All right, so
Defuse a bomb.
it's another defense downstairs of the garage from Black Dragons, and if these teams continue up the pattern, then this round will go in favor of Black Dragons, and they will have learned from their mistakes. But I don't know if I can say if they really learned from their mistakes, because a couple of the times that we saw, they just lost gun duels. The utility that came out from FaZe was largely upstairs, and then they just swamped the site. As we've seen with every single garage take so far from both of these teams, it's that, well, you pressure as best as you can towards the garage, then you just trample them underfoot as you run into the site. So, Astro was looking to possibly go into admin. As he mentioned, well, your pressure is going to come on over from the garage, and Astro just comes right back and must have seen something on cam, but there's nobody from Black Dragons that's nearby. That's very confusing.
I'm not sure what the play is right now from FaZe. It looks like they want to rush in through yellow or something like that. Maybe just do a basic garage take and then have Astro late flank. Looks like, yeah, I think Astro's supposed to late flank, and this is just a basic garage take. So nothing. Oh, nice shot from Ion. That's beautiful. A retake from upstairs on yellow. Down goes live, but Astro with the late flank gets Hornetau, and then BD start coming alive, and the site push comes out. By the side of White, Mav will take down Lagonis. Ion and Mav now have to hold on to the diffuser and the site, but from above, PZD will shut down Ion, putting all the pressure on Mav, who has to get diffuser and plant it. Got a lot of time to do it, but not a lot of places. He's probably going to need to relocate here to the kitchen, and he'll do just that. Here comes the plant attempt. Gonna be yellow, really, the main pivot point here for FaZe. Mav will have to hold on to that, and he's got very little HP to do so. Ooh, bad timing on the angle, but he gets out. He can play this a little bit safer now, but it means he's lost control of his bottleneck, which is huge. He'll have to take 1v1s to have any chance of winning this, and it's really not easy with this low HP. He should have shot the shield, he didn't, and now he pays the consequences. BD will take another round and even this out onto a 4-on-4.
This match is just destined to go back and forth consistently until the end of time, and yeah, it shouldn't really surprise you. What happened there was after FaZe had assessed that they had control of the front of garage, they rushed on in, and they still had Astro upstairs. He was a little bit too far off of the beat. By the time he was able to get in action, almost all of that round occurred over by yellow stairs, and then the remaining members of Black Dragons who were playing by that staff area decided to peek out, and they took out the members of FaZe that were trying to get into that particular area. I think that left just the nomad of Ion and Mav inside of the site, and then they cleaned up. And Mav realized that he couldn't really do all that much, so he had to go for a plant. I mean, that's the smart move to make, and a lot of teams aren't accounting for you to plant in the second bomb site. They're expecting you to plant in the first bomb site that you're going to encounter, which is on that garage wall / in the middle of garage. So Mav played it well, but there was just a lot of little mistakes, and these teams have made an abundance of little and semi-large mistakes there. Mav, as you said, he gave up control of the bottleneck onto yellow stairs. He wasn't playing an ACOG, so maybe he wouldn't be able to hit the shots. I don't know. Mav usually hits those shots. It's just a chaotic round altogether, and one in favor of Black Dragons.
Yep. Here we are. 4-4. Said that back and forth. Unsurprising, I suppose. Be a main lobby defense here for BD. Reinforcements by the garage. C4 from below is going to be the main focus, as you can see. Got at least 2 C4s, possibly 4 on the board for BD, and a pulse to boot. So the setup is pretty clear and obvious. FaZe look like they want to take top floor. They'll start with admin office. They'll clear up to the CEO probably. Maybe just a meeting. They could do just meeting. They don't have to go the whole distance.
Located a bomb.
Once they have at least a meeting, they can go for a main lobby take if that is their plan. You could also do a piano take if you've got full top floor.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
But establishing that upstairs control is the main priority, clearly. It's gonna take some time since there's these pests on the windows. Actually, I think you can put one pest that covers both the windows just about equally.
I don't know if one pest can do both, but I mean, you might need to take one for the team here, and I think they've droned enough of it to know that they can head on in, and that's Ion who's going to bite the bullet and just dive headfirst into admin, not expecting somebody there.
To be clear, I don't think you can cover the whole windows. I mean, I'm talking about like, you can put it like in the middle and it'll get most of both of the windows, or at least from my recollection. Maybe I'm wrong. Not on this set of windows. It's a different one I'm thinking. Oh, I'm thinking of CEO. Yeah, I'm thinking of CEO windows. If you put it in the middle of CEO windows, you can cover the whole like set of both. My mistake. But yeah, the test did delay this round probably about 20, 30 seconds, something like that. Took a good long while for FaZe to full commit.
Black Dragons have given up absolutely nothing in the process. They don't have anybody playing over on B bomb site, and the hatch being reinforced means that there's no vertical play or ability for them to be able to drop down or play unless you bring Yuna over to that location, which I'm assuming FaZe is going to try to do over towards admin. Additionally, FaZe, or no, actually no, Yuna's just, he's waiting to plant right by the door. So, okay, you're not going to put him upstairs in harm's way. You're going to wait to try to plant default, which is right where that plant is, speaking of, and that's not me trying to be clever with my words. A first kill comes in for Black Dragons, and then two more from FaZe as Ion takes matters into his own hands. There's an air jab as well, so he's providing value to all of his teammates across the entire field. Another from Black Dragons and another from FaZe, as it's the Maestro lined up. Two big plays from Lagonis, leaving Ion now to do the rest of the work. Well, he's been instrumental for his team, but you're going to have to be just a tiny bit better. He'll hit the barbed wire, and that'll be given away as the Maestro is going to be on the ground to the right, and there's almost zero way that Ion is going to be able to make it past the bathroom door without losing his life. And there you go. Black Dragons will win another. This time, their very first time winning 2 in a row, and they're now up 5-4.
Big round there from Lagonis. Hitting that shot as he was about to prone. Didn't expect him to win that gunfight. He managed it. Well played. Well played indeed. So, Black Dragons, very close to match point as stated. So, they could just push this a little bit further and actually manage to beat FaZe, and we'll have plenty of upsets for the day. I wondered if anybody predicted the results that we've had so far today.
No, I didn't expect this match to be as close as it is either. I didn't really have like a dog in the fight when it comes to who was going to win this, but I certainly didn't think it would be this back and forth between the teams.
Yeah, nor I. Well, archives and tellers, the next bomb site for BD.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
That last round really was just a top take from FaZe, and the top take actually worked fairly well. Ion managed to do a lot of work as an individual. I'm surprised by that, by the way. He, as a solo, cleared out the top floor basically single-handedly, and that's really impressive. I don't even think anyone was droning for him at the time. So props to Ion. Could be that there was someone droning. Either way, he won his fights. He took control. Following that, the rotation over to the main lobby. We didn't see all the action that ensued, but it looked like BD cleared up the push in through the main lobby, and while it was about even exchanges for a while, when it came to the moment where Lagonis was about to get into the fight, he made it not so even, managing to win those big fights over by the main lobby, and then to isolate Ion, force him into a 1-on-2. So here we are in a situation where BD are about to take the win. FaZe need to stop this. This still could be a FaZe victory, not to that draw point yet, but it's getting there. All spotted inside of Visa. Could be a free kill if someone gets on the Visa window.
It looks like it. They're wasting no time at all. They're ready to drop down and just go for it. And there goes one of the hatches. The pulse is down below, so Wog will know this ahead of time. He might be the only man on Black Dragons who actually spots this, and well, he's going to give the information. I think he sees the drone, and there it goes. Puts the sensor away, and a little bit of info from FaZe is now gone.
if FaZe was planning on going for a more aggressive take here, they will call it off based on seeing that pulse, because the pulse is going to be calling out their locations right now. And so, yeah, there's nobody who's going to see a pulse in this situation and be like, oh yeah, let's rush, because then BD will be ready for it.
Back to his spot he goes, and Wag will continue to call as he's letting the rest of his teammates just frag on other sides of the map. Goodbye to Ion, and Black Dragons have looked much better on their defenses so far, with the exception, of course, the first defense that they had, which they weren't able to muster a single kill. Though Teller's Archives is a challenge to hold on to, and can be even worse to retake, which is why you see a lot of teams destroy that entire floor, play down from below, wait for somebody on attack to push in, and then you have C4s in hand. And as you can see from the lineup from Black Dragons, there will be no shortage of explosive resistance to the to the attackers when they go to get that plant down, should FaZe be able to get that close, that is.
They haven't yet. It's not looking very good. I mean, they haven't even cleared out the top floor. Look at this. PZD was just hiding behind the CEO desk, and now, position unknown, he's looking to try and retake upstairs. He could do a lot of damage to FaZe if he times this. There's no one upstairs now. So the sooner PZD goes for a Visa flank, the better. Looks like he's going to start realizing that at some point. FaZe are all stacked up inside of Visa and going for the Teller's site. Yuna going in with the diffuser, starting the plant. Wag has got to read this and got to deny that. Astro will get one as he drops down into the server room. Here's 2 for BD, though, and the diffuser plant stopped. Astro in sight downstairs, but no diffuser in hand. Mav there to support him. Same deal, though. Astro alone now. He'll have to find 3. Position given away, but he finds the Mozzie. Knows there's one on Spiral. Doesn't know where the second person is. Checks in sight. Sees the enemy. Might not know that that's the other.
10 seconds to go.
He's got to be careful, and he's got to be quick. Oh, this is smart from Astro. He could go for a plant right now. He just has to find somewhere safe. Going for on the server stack. Hugsword is dropped, though, and he should be able to deny this. There it is. He takes his time. Black Dragons put it on a match point. FaZe cannot take 3 out of this. At worst, it'll be a draw for BD.
I don't know if you saw, but for but a second, that default cam flickered and gave Astro's position away as he was at the bottom of Visa stairs and then went back into server. So,
oh no.
They knew that he was there, and he hadn't shot that spiral cam that was in the basement. That is a bad stroke of luck, and just something that when you are so preoccupied with finding the kills and you know how much pressure's on your shoulders, little things like that, they just go unnoticed. That's the second time that FaZe have failed to shoot out a very common default cam. You can't be letting those simple mistakes happen against a team like FaZe. You can't be as a team allowing yourself to fall behind off of such basic things as shooting default cams. And I think that FaZe's comms are likely a mess. Their coordination doesn't seem to be as strong as it usually is. And they've allowed a team like Black Dragons, who are well below them in the standings, to just simply beat them up on both attack and defense now.
The same story we had for the last match on the same map, no less. And I mean, in this one, it's actually, in this one, it is worse. FaZe have won more rounds so far, but the performance from FaZe has been worse, certainly. Because that's not the only default cam they haven't shot. I mean, if you remember the round where they managed to win an attack, actually, I believe it was onto the bottom floor. FaZe did not shoot the outside cam in front of the front door. And that's, I mean, that's much worse. That camera is, well, it's outside, and those are supposed to be shot very quickly. I don't know. It's been pretty bad for a lot of teams today. I don't know. We'll see if FaZe can bounce it back.
It's been a long month.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I think
a lot of these players are feeling that.
Yeah, I mean it's stressful times. I can't even imagine how the players are reacting to this. Let alone production, and honestly, big ups to production. They deserve just so much thanks for just the myriad issues that have happened this week, and they've trucked on despite the fact that the servers have blown up and there's been huge tech issues and the internet's gone down, the electricity and power went out. Like, it's been crazy times. It's been absolutely crazy times, and we're in very uncertain times, and it's not really surprising that I'm sure there's some anxiety that is at play with these teams. And while pressure might be lowered because of the fact that there are no LAN finals, well, There's still societal and global pressure on their shoulders.
And that's not even to consider also the stuff that's been happening in game, or the game is kind of having a weird time right now, where a lot of things just aren't panning out the way that they ought to, like barricades, for example. I don't want to get too into it, but yeah, it's been a lot of pressure on the players' shoulders just considering that.
And I'd also speculate, and I could be wrong here, so Ubisoft, please don't admonish me for this, but I would gather that most Ubisoft employees are probably working from home. If that's the case, how much are they able to fix when things do go wrong, or if something needs to be tweaked? How capable are they of being able to do that if they're not at their usual stations and they're not all together? So I think the big thing overall is just to preach patience for everybody, because these are not we are not in the norm right now.
It's a really good point. Yeah, you have to. Oh, C4 detonates. Yuna eats a little bit of damage, but no, it's actually not him who eat the damage. It's Mav who is above, and he ate very little. Astro will get Lagonis. Good kill for him. Artau trying to flank up from the spiral staircase. Right now, FaZe applying a lot of pressure vertically. Getting the Goyo shields. Not a lot of time here. WAG will win a gunfight, though, against Astro on the yellow stairs. That's huge. That's going to alleviate a lot of the pressure that's being applied from FaZe from that staircase. Someone else will have to take Astro's position, and Mav will get PZD in response. FaZe still not ready to go for a plant. Over by Locker Hall. Nice shot landed by Ion. He's going to get a second one, and that's the last. FaZe clean it up on a great crossfire. Call it a hammer and anvil strategy there, and Ion certainly was a good hammer.
Ion's had these almost superhuman rounds. He did so on Cafe last week in the matchup that you and I casted when he got a 1v4 and he won. And now he does the same thing here, except he had the supporting cast of his team around. So, but you can rely on him to be really, really strong. And, you know, FaZe obviously felt his absence in Tokonami. They brought in 9XT, if you recall, during that event. And I think he did admirably, but it's so hard to teach a new member all of your strategies on which you've based, you know, your play around. And Ion is extremely flexible. He can play support roles. He can play entry roles. He can play those flex roles as well. He can play everything on both attack and defense. So major credit to him. When he just seems to go off, he goes off, and nobody can really slow him down. He's been very underrated because he lived in the shadow of, I think, Mav and Astro on this FaZe roster, and for a period of time, Cameraman as well. Relying on them is you know, the old familiar names that you see in Latin America, but Ion has definitely made a name for himself. So regardless, that round from FaZe, it was really a backtake that worked out miraculously. And I don't think Black Dragons is super keen on going back to Garage because of how quickly and methodically FaZe were able to pick that part, taking control of Visa stairs, taking control of Spiral stairs, pushing from there, as they also had the Garage control. It was a slow and suffocating end for Black Dragons, or rather a slow and suffocating start for Black Dragons, and then a very quick end as the life was just snuffed out of them in the dying 5 seconds of action, where FaZe just decided to rush in and took the heads off of all of them, and Ion in particular proved his worth in that round. So it's going to be a very first defense of console office. It's the first time that Black Dragons has gone here. We haven't been given an opportunity to see how they defend this site. And if I'm FaZe, are you starting over by admin, or are you just going like Nip did? Are you going to attack the console windows? It definitely appears for FaZe it's going to be on that west side of the map.
Well, this is it. Half for nothing for FaZe. All or half for BD. I guess I should say a third, really. All or a third. Doesn't sound as nice. FaZe trying to take onto the yellow staircase here, as they're still focused for now. Clearing out the Wamais, the ADSs, and ooh, bad cutoff there from Astro. He lets the player slip away. Using too tight of an angle. That does mean that at least yellow stairs is cleared out. A reminder that that's a spectator bug, so that one in particular at least does not affect the gameplay. So it's not... Don't need to worry about it for the integrity of the competitiveness of this match or anything along those lines. BD know
the drone is just thrown into the universe, into the ether, or ether, I guess technically.
Yeah, and
how you pronounce it.
It's not how they see it though, so that's all right.
Yeah, No, you can even hear the drone sounds too.
Yeah. Ion trying to hold on to yellow, but he'll lose. Hornatow, a very aggressive play. And he might get 2, but no, he misses his shot onto Astro, who gets his second kill onto Hugzord. C4, a little preemptive there, and it will miss. Possibly an impact also. Could have been either one. But FaZe have gained control of bathroom and top yellow, and that is the key part of this.
I would have to imagine that was a C4 tossed out. He just dances around it. FaZe have total control now, and it's Lagonis in a 1v4 as he gets knocked down. C4 goes, and no, FaZe will deny Black Dragons the full 3 points, and they will draw. 1 point for each, and it was as close as it is at the top of the standings here for Latin America. Well, FaZe Clan are coming out a winner, even though they technically drew. Still, it was a very sloppy effort from both teams. You expect to see a higher caliber of play from FaZe just because of the pedigree, like I've said, around that team many